Well, first of all, we really want to say thank you very much for this invitation. We are pleased to be here, me and my wife, Maria Fernanda. I think you already know us. We were last year in some newspapers together because we got married in Doha. Two times also. We married by the civil way and then in the Qatari traditional way. It was one of the honors of our life to have this opportunity. So because of this, I really want to say thank you to the Qatari Forum for Authors because our experience are in our heart, but also we had the chance to share it with our family, with our friends back in Latin America, in our countries. And one of the things that I also had the chance to do was to share my experiences in Doha, in Qatar, as an ambassador, former ambassador of Panama to Doha, in a book I wrote called Warriors in Times of Sacrifice. And the name of my book is Warriors in Times of Sacrifice because this line touched me very strong as a part of the national anthem of Qatar. In the national anthem of Qatar, you say in the choir that you are dove in times of peace and you are warriors in times of sacrifice. So after the situation, I had the chance also to experience, meanwhile I was ambassador, was something that I can't still understand that what was happening around Doha, not in Doha. And this is some of the things that I love the most from Qatari people. They preserve with your pure heart, with a strong mentality and supporting your leader, His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. So I am glad to say that I also had the chance to know personally His Highness, a very young man, a very smart, clever man, an amazing person that when I came that time last year, after we got married, I remember it was about to start Ramadan. So we went to Al Washba Palace to regard His Highness. And the first thing he told me was, "Congratulations for your wedding." And I was so impressed. I was in shock. I was like, how he knows? Like, he has so many important things, and that can show you how amazing he is. He's looking after everything, and he knows about everything. And he's also very kind to come to you and to congratulate you because of your wedding. So he told me that, and I was very impressed and very grateful. I told him, "Thank you so much, Your Highness," and he was laughing. He was telling me, "You really look Qatari." And that this is something that I also want to take a minute to thank His Excellency, the Minister of Culture and Sport, and all the team that you were with us, supporting us with everything. Maria, that was the third day of Maria living in Doha. The third day. When we got married, that was the third day of Maria living in Doha because she used to live in Istanbul, in Turkey. Her father was the director of Pro Mexico and the commercial representation office of Mexico in Turkey. So it was the third day of her living in Doha, and she was welcoming in that way, as only Qatari knows how to be the best host ever in the world. I have the chance to live in different places, different countries, but something that I really want to highlight is the warm heart of Qataris and how you always receive people with the open arms, and you always provide anything that people need. So I will ask my wife, how do you feel living in Doha after 1 year?
It has been 1 year. Our wedding was the 27th of April in 2019. As my husband said, I was living in Turkey, and this was the first time that I got separate from my parents. So they were a bit nervous to know where I was going to live, how it was going to be, and thank God everything went amazing. They were in love with Doha, in love with the wedding, in love with the people and the warm heart of the people of Doha. So when my mother had to leave and she left me in Doha, she told me, I am sure that this is the best place you could ever be. Why? Because we will always be thankful to the people of the Ministry of Culture and Sports that from the first day, they just welcomed me, and they gave me everything so I would feel comfortable to be in Doha. It's not only an amazing city, it's not only a beautiful place, because it's amazingly beautiful, but also I love how the people are in perfect alliance with everything, with having a very big amount of foreign people in their country, and they're still very warm, very kind, and very nice. One of the other things I am very grateful for is that in only 1 year, I can say that thank God I've been able to meet and greet Her Highness Sheikh Mosa 2 times. Because we go one time before Ramadan and one time after Ramadan. So I have been able to see her. I've been able to talk to her. Even she congratulated me again for the wedding. She told me she liked my red dress. Mm-hmm. And I found out there that Qatar is not only a country where they have the best government, or they have the best emir, which is His Highness Sheikh Tamim, but also the power that they give to women, and the empowerment that royal family gives to the woman is such an example, not only for Qatari women, but they are a really nice example for all the world. So I met her. Then that same day, I was able to see Sheikh Ahmed. I've been in events where Sheikh Joan is there, where Sheikh Al-Mayas is there, and that makes you see how warm and how close to people the royal family is. So, well, thank God in that year I was able to do all these things, and of course, the cherry on top of on top of the pie, which was meeting His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. One of our greatest honors. I hope one day we are able to see a world where all leaders have his ideas, where all leaders have his values, and I'm very sure the day that all the leaders in the world share something similar even to Sheikh Tamim, we will be living in a very, very happy, nice, and peaceful world. So tell us more about your books.
Yes, of course. We wrote and we present the book Warriors in Times of Sacrifice in the last Doha International Book Fair that was in Qatar. We presented on January 14, 2020. It was one of the most amazing experience of my life, and this is something that also gives you an idea how great is the people of Qatar all the time. When when they tell us about a plan they have, is and always looks something humble and something that will be maybe not something to make a big noise, but then I'm telling you, because of our wedding. For our wedding, we thought like, okay, we will be with our family, we will be with some friends. But at the end, when we came to the wedding, there were men's dancing with the sword dance. They were women's with the drums, and they were like hundreds of people. Yes. And we were so impressed, like, wow, I thought it will be something smaller, but this is something huge. And the same happened to us when we realized the impact of the presentation of the book Warriors in Times of Sacrifice on January 14. Because we thought that we will only talk a little bit about the book and we will introduce the book, but then we were in this huge stage with our friend Ahmed Abdallah as a presenter, hosting the presentation of our book with a lot of people there. Director Ahmed was there also, a very good friend, Director Ahmed. And we were also there with a lot of influencer friends, with different people that came, ambassadors who attend the presentation. So again, Qatar give us a lesson how humble they are, and in the same time how amazing and big things they are willing to do. And this is something that happens, and we also wrote about this in the book with the World Cup 2022. It's something that Qatar is preparing very humbly. People think around the world that Qatar is a small country, but I can tell you, we went and we have the opportunity to be witness of the stadiums that Qatar are building. Big stadiums, amazing stadiums with the last technology in the world. This is something that will not only impress people, but will left a big mark in the mind and in the hearts of anyone that could have the chance to come to Qatar and to experience the World Cup 2022. This is something that will be amazing. And we really want to take this minute to invite everyone that are watching this conversation to come to Doha in 2022. And if you can come before, it will be even better. So you will have the chance to experiment different things in Doha that you really can't miss, as the Museum of Islamic Art, the National Museum of Qatar, the Souk Waqif is one of our favorite places. We always go there to have anything to eat. Then we love to visit some friends, because we already have friends in the Souk Waqif that we also like to visit each week, weekly at least. We pass to the Souk Waqif, the beautiful sea of the skyline, the Doha Corniche is something amazing to walk. I mean, you have thousands of things that you need to experience in Qatar. Sea Line is one of the places that we also want. Each time we have the chance to visit, we love to go there. And we have friends in our special place in Doha that is Sikrit. Mm-hmm. Sikrit is beautiful.
A piece of sky in the world.
In the world, it's beautiful. Yeah. When we were there with our friends that invite us, we can't believe that you can find a place as beautiful like Sikrit is. So we also love to go there. And yeah, this is something that I also want to share each time I have the chance to speak in Qatar, when I have the chance to be invited for different conference as a speaker, and also out of Qatar. For example, we are here in Latin America, but we went to Panama and we present our book in Panama with students from different universities and with other groups that we have the chance to talk, some editorial books and different agencies for publishing books in Panama. We did the same in Argentina. In Argentina, we have the chance to present our book in Mendoza, Buenos Aires, Córdoba, Salta, and I missed one. I am missing one, no?
Córdoba, Mendoza, Buenos Aires, Santa.
Okay, so.
And then we came back to Buenos Aires.
To Buenos Aires,
Yeah,
yes. So four different provinces. In Argentina, we were presenting Warriors in Times of Sacrifice. People are very happy to know about Qatar, and this is the way how we are building bridges between regions. This is the way how we are trying to support from the both sides. From one side, to know more about our brothers from Qatar and from the Middle East, and from Qatar also to get in touch with our region back in Latin America. So it's something very funny to say, because I wrote the book I started writing the book in 2018. I finished in the last days of 2018, I remember. But when I wrote the book, I wrote it in Spanish first. Then the book was translated into English, and then the book was translated into Arabic. I remember when we went to His Highness to regard him when we finished our position as ambassador, the first person in the world who has the book finished of Warriors in Times of Sacrifice is His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. He was the one who got it. We gave it to him, and when he opened the box where the book was, he was very impressed, and he told me, the book is in Arabic. I said yes, and he was very, very happy, because we also had the book in the Arabic translation, of course, for our sisters and brothers in Qatar and the Arab world. And we also have the book in English now with our publishing agency, Luceil Publishing and Agency. We are working in the translation of the book now in Spanish. So inshallah, we will have the book in Spanish, English, Arabic, and who knows, maybe another languages. So when we were in Argentina, we have the chance to promote and present our book. They are asking where they can have it. We are giving them now the chance to get it digital. And then we came to Mexico and we did the same. We also present our book. And here in Mexico, we had the chance to meet one of our best friends in the world right now. His Excellency, the Ambassador of Qatar to Mexico, Mohammed Al-Kowari. He is just my role model. I want to be like him one day. Voila, I want to be like him. He's just great. He is a very hardworking man. He is a very kind person. He knows how to talk Spanish perfectly, and this is something that I can say. Yes. That I can speak Arabic. I wish when we come back, we want even to start learning Arabic.
We have to because he knows Spanish perfectly, and you have been living in Doha for almost 3 years.
For almost 3 years, and I can say only, I don't know, just few words in Arabic. It's something that really makes me, and when you have the chance to meet people like Ambassador Al-Kowari, you get motivated. This is the kind of people that inspire you to be and to become a better person. And this is something that also happened to us in Qatar. In Qatar, you have the chance to meet people from the humble family to the royal family, and all of them always inspire you. Royal family, for example, where you will find in the world royal family using the metro, just in Qatar. Mm-hmm. And this is something that I remember when the academy scholar calendar were starting last year. Check a hint, were going to the school with her kids in the metro.
Wow.
And this is why we got inspired from every people in Qatar. And I don't know, Maria Fernanda, if you want to add something.
I would, oh my God, I could add 1,000 people, starting, of course, by Mariam Al-Hamadi. First of all, she every time I open Instagram or every time I open a newspaper, she's there.
So popular.
Presenting a new book, which unfortunately I cannot read because they are in Arabic.
We need
But
to
I
translate
will
it. We need
promise,
to
I will
translate.
promise I will learn it. I will learn soon. Starting from there, and then Rim also from the Ministry of Culture and Sports, she's like a sister to me. She has been so helpful, so nice, and she was one of the persons that made me feel home since the beginning. Sheikha Lanud from QFC, it's called?
QFC. Yeah.
QFC, she's also a role model to me. You see her and she's so full of life and intelligence, and you just look at her and you say, I want to be like her.
Yeah.
So I could give 1,000 names, not only in, and what I love the most is not that they are only men or they are only women. You find the perfect balance in power, and you find the perfect balance in knowledge and positioning in both, every sector, in any sector, from health to finance to politics. You find the perfect balance of both of them, and that is incredibly amazing.
A few days ago, I had the chance to have a conversation with the artist Muna Al-Badr. One of the things that Qatar is doing is promoting culture with a very strong line of support artists, not only in Qatar, but around the world. And you can find in Qatar, because happened to me, exhibitions of Picasso and Giacometti in the Fire Station Museum. And you are just walking in, and then you realize there is an exhibition of Picasso. And you said, oh my God, Picasso is here. And then it's not only an exhibition of Picasso, but a comparison between Picasso and Giacometti, two of the biggest artists in the history of culture. And then you can find the not only like this kind of art, but also you can find caps, for example, and in a modern kind of art. So Qatar is always improving or not improving. They are always presenting a mix of culture, respecting all the different ways of art that you can find. They promote the art from different artists, men and women, kids and adults. Because I remember that in the fire station, you have different artworks for kids to promote the creativity and the inspiration and motivation to become artists for kids. And this is something that you can find also in programs that Qatar developed in Africa, that Qatar developed in Asia, that Qatar developed in Latin America, that Qatar promotes in the UN through the delegation of Qatar in the United Nations. So this is why I want to say that Qatar is not a country that keeps the good things for them. They share the good things for the world or with the world, with the humanity. And speaking about humanity, the time we are, the situation currently we are facing as humanity, again, Qatar is giving a tool for the humanity to face the situation. They are given aids and support, help, medical support to different countries through Qatar Airways and the state of Qatar. Qatar Airways never stopped working. Qatar Airways put back in their homes close than 1 million people that were stuck in different parts of the world. Who are doing this? Just Qatar Airways.
Yes, just Qatar Airways.
And this is something that is really amazing, you know.
And also, sorry, but I just want to point out that I also think Qatar Airways is one of the examples that I was telling you about, where there is perfect balance between women and men, because you can find a brilliant mind as His Excellency Akbar al-Bakr. But at the same time, you can see also a brilliant mind of Miss Salam al-Shawa. We have also had the pleasure of meeting her, and she is incredibly smart, and she has this personality that makes you feel like you are completely safe, you know. And in one of these situations, like a pandemic that we're going through right now, they have shown that inside Qatar Airways, they have the perfect balance, which they have become a platform, and they have become a tool to help not only Qatari people, but the world. How many people have they took to their home? Qatar Airways.
Plus than 1 million people, and they are also supporting airlines that are also given the chance to people to come back their countries. For example, Qatar Airlines from Panama, Qatar Airways is sharing their knowledge to do it the best way. And the same with Iberia in Spain and American Airlines. I can mention different companies that are working together with Qatar Airways in this plan. And this is something really, really amazing. I remember that one of the things that becomes one of the concerns of the people from Latin America is thinking about the World Cup, because we love football, right? So in the beginning, we were thinking, wow, what is going to happen with the World Cup? Because they stopped the German league, they stopped the English league, they stopped the Spanish league, the biggest in the world, the Italian league, they stopped it. So we were thinking, what is going to happen with the World Cup 2022? Well, the Supreme Committee for Delivery and Legacy, they never stop working. In fact, I will say now they are working the double or the triple, because next day they were already given the workers everything they need just to keep them safe, number one, and number two, to provide with everything that FIFA needs to knows that Qatar is still compromised with the celebration of the World Cup. I mean, I can tell you that I can see every day in the different platforms of the Supreme Committee of Delivery and Legacy, different authors, different players, different people that are involved with the host of the World Cup, talking about it and giving the people with transparency and honesty. They develop how is the level of the develop of the different stadiums of everything. And Qatar is not only working to celebrate a World Cup in 1 month. They are working to keep this historical moment for the humanity. They made a platform that is named Generation Amazing. Generation Amazing is how to involve the youth with the World Cup and to give them the tools to become better persons and to give them the tool to become leaders and to start organizing groups, to start different programs, as the World Cup is a sport program to improve the good things that people can explode. So I would say that this is some of the things that I really want to highlight in this conversation, and to thank the people of Qatar to always being so kind and to always share the good things that, alhamdulillah, you have with the people of the world.
So, since we are here talking with the Qatari Forum of Authors,
yes,
what would be your advice to the people in Qatar that are thinking, maybe I should write a book, maybe I shouldn't, and now they have time with the pandemic? So what would be your advice for the people that are willing to write a book and they are still like, they don't know?
This is a very good question. I would say that I will invite Qataris to write, first of all, about all the programs that they have as students.
Yes.
You know, we made a conversation with the students of Georgetown University, and it was very well received from people of Latin America.
Yes.
Because they were saying, wow, I really can apply in Qatar to be students with a scholarship. And I say, yes. And people can't believe it.
Yeah, exactly. Because, sorry, in Latin America and Latin American students, we have this idea that going to Doha and going to Qatar would be unimaginable. It would be extremely expensive. It's very far, and maybe they won't accept me how it is. So I think when you talked with Ricardo is his name, from Rafael from Brazil, and they actually saw a Brazilian studying in Doha, then there was youth from Colombia, there was youth from Argentina, there was youth from Mexico, Panama. They were very excited that there is a possibility, and of course, and I think it's one of the best places you could ever go, because they have the best universities. Definitely, they have the best universities established in Doha, and also the knowledge of culture that you can gain there is amazing. So sorry for interrupting you.
No, please don't worry. And no need to be a book, precisely. You can start by writing an article. Because, for example, my first book is Letters on the Wall. This is a compilation of different articles that were published to me in different newspapers in Panama and the Middle East, in Qatar also. So I would say that people can just start by writing articles about something that they like from their life. Could be living in Qatar, comparing the life they have now with the life they have before. This kind of experience, when you have the chance to provide knowledge, I think this is the number one compromise you have to share with the population of the world, with the humanity. You, in the moment you can communicate, could be even no need even to write. You can now, with the tools that technology provides you, you can just record a video and you can sharing in the different platforms you have to do this. But as I like to write, I will use my experience. I will say that you can write an article, because I can tell you, people, number one, they will really be thankful, because you are sharing this experience, because you are sharing this knowledge, and because you are giving them the opportunity to know how to apply for such a nice things. And I would say that in this moment that currently we are, I could invite people just to start sharing experiences with the other people that we can connect through different platforms, and maybe we can start practicing Arabic, basically, like small things. And when we come back to Doha, we can go in a very and better level of Arabic.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. And yeah, I think this is something amazing. I also want to share that we have the chance to interview Juan Pablo Escobar, who is the son of Pablo Escobar. We were talking about his life. He's now ambassador for peace. How important was this conversation? Because provides you with the knowledge that despite who was your father, you have the right to live in freedom and in peace. You have the right to change your legacy and to become a good person. He has now 2 books translated into more than 15 languages. He has presented this book in different countries and different regions around the world. He was, in fact, in Doha before, talking with a group of young professionals from the Young Professional Presidential Group. That was an incredible experience to him, he told us. And I wish one day, and I'm sure that will gonna happen, we will have the chance to invite not only him, but other authors from Latin America that will love to become authors in Qatar and to provide them with the books they have been writing. I'm sure that in these exchanges, we will have also authors from Qatar participating in the International Book Fair in Panama, International Book Fair in Mexico, International Book Fair in Colombia, the book fairs I know from Latin America. But I'm sure, and this is something that I also want to motivate the international cooperation to do, is to keep working hard in the promotion of culture. This is something that we realize, as Qatar realized, in the 4 pillars for the Vision 2030, that is something that you need to promote and to work hard in the culture. This is something Qatar is doing already, and this is something I want to keep, to ask Qatar to keep working, because this is the line I think is important also to post in the future.
Okay, so again, since we are in Qatari Forum of Authors, thank you so much for the invitation again. I want to ask you a few questions.
Please.
Who is your favorite writer?
Dan Brown.
Which one is your favorite book?
Warriors in Times of Sacrifice.
It's not that cheating. That's not.
No, I like. I will say, well, I have so many, but one of my favorites I always use is Maestri from him, same one.
Okay. Which book do you took longer to write? Warriors in Times of Sacrifice or Letters on the Wall?
Letters on the Wall.
What article of Letters in the Wall you like the most and why?
Oh, that is a very good question. My favorite article is maktub. Maktub is a word that means that everything is written, and that God have a plan for you and for the rest of the humanity. So when you say inshallah, you are saying that if God wants something to happen, it will happen because everything is written. So when you say inshallah, you need to wait because everything is maktub. Okay. So because of this is my favorite articles and have a very deep meaning for me. And usually when I am invited to speak with youth, they always ask me to talk about this article.
And do you think that our destiny is written or you make it?
Wow, this is even a very difficult question. I think that we all have a destiny. I think in common, our destiny and our purpose in life is to be happy, number one. I think our purpose is to be happy and to help others to be happy too. Yeah. This is the common purpose we should have in life. Number two, I think this is also the first thing that everyone should work in. And then I think God, as the Quran said in Maktub, is written for every of us. But you can accomplish this purpose or this destiny in the good way if in your path you are doing good things for the others. Also, you can maybe sometimes not behave as you should, but at the end it will happen what is written.
Yeah, I agree perfectly with you.
Thank you.
How many times have you read your own books?
Which one?
Both.
Oof.
First,
Hundreds.
let's start with Warriors in Times of Sacrifice.
Hundreds. I can tell you what is written in each page. I can tell you because I mean we were editing. I was trying in both to be number one. When you are writing, you need to be respectful with the people that are reading you. You need to keep the respect all the time. Your opinions need to be under the respect of the belief of the others. This is number one. You can't attack with your opinion anyone. You need to know that as you have the right to make an opinion, the other ones also have the right to agree or disagree with you.
Yeah.
So you need to be respectful all the time. And because of this, I will say that I was always keep reading and reading again and reading again trying to not commit any mistake or to commit the less mistake I can when I was writing the book. So 100 times each one.
Okay. What is your favorite part of the process of writing a book, and what is your least favorite part of the process of writing a book?
Wow, you are a journalist, eh? I can tell now. But I would say in the articles, the first part I love, I have two parts. Number one, when I decide which will be the title of the article, because I think this is the first moment where the readers engage with the article. When they read the title, they know what will be probably the content of the article. So this is something that I love to wait for this moment to become creative, to start with the title, and then the final message. This is something that I always like to think. What will be the message of the article? It's not only to share information. I try all the time when I write an article to finish with a message.
Yeah.
And I try also that message will help people in the good way. And most of the times I try to share my experiences. I think this is good.
Which is the least part of your least favorite part of the process of writing a book?
When take me a long time to
Okay.
write, like Maktub, I took 2 months to write an article of
Wow.
2 pages. Maktub is only 2 pages, maybe, I don't know, 1,200 words, but took me 2 months because I was doing a lot of research. I was reading the Quran, I was reading the Bible, I was reading the Torah, I was looking for history. I was reading a lot because I was kind of looking for the deep part of this amazing word, and I need to look in different places, different books, so it took me a lot.
Now I have a personal question.
Yes.
Okay, so when we were in the International Book Fair in Doha, this 2020, in January, my dear friend Mariaman Hamadi told me, Maria, I think you should write a book. But one of the reasons I am a bit afraid is because I'm nervous and I don't know if people will like it, and I don't know if people will even read it, or they will just use it like to pass coffee, you know?
Yeah.
So how can I know what would you tell me to go ahead and write something? Do you ever get nervous when you publish something, or you just know right away people will like it? What would you say?
Oh, well, I'm nervous about this all the time. You are always you are always concerned if people will like it or not. This is something very natural and very normal. You because you want people like it, right? You don't want to. You are always concerned because you are opening your thoughts and your soul to the people. When you are sharing this, something so intimate and something so special, people can use it even against you sometimes.
Yeah.
But happens that until now, alhamdulillah, this is something that never happened to me, but you always keep the fear, you know, the afraid that you know, there is in the world, unfortunately, we have people that sometimes are jealous, and sometimes they can use your words against you.
Yeah.
And this is something that always concerns you and always keep you feeling nervous about. But imagine if we live a life without taking action, that will not be alive. So it's better to regret because you took action and you learned something, that regret because you never did something in your life.
Yeah.
But you are asking me so many things, and now I want to ask you something also. Okay, so I will start saying what things you can say you can find similar between Qatar and Latin America.
Okay.
Tell me three.
Three. Okay. First of all, there is, and it might sound crazy, but there is one specific sense that I think people, even if we are in the whole completely the other side of the world, there's a sense of the people warmth of receiving foreigners. And I have realized that, for example, in Mexico, in my country, when we have a foreigner, we just hug him and bring him and take him to eat everything, and we take him to see everything we have, and you want to show him everything. And I think this passion for foreigners is something that I have also found in Doha, in Qatar, and they are very respectful, and they also feel, I mean, the laws also of Qatar, they are not only made for Qataris, they are made to protect and to conserve the peace also with the foreigners. And I think that's one of the main factors that are very similar. The other thing I would say is, in my case, the spicy food, which I love. And I've been very happy since in Qatar we have found that. What else? What do you think?
I think the familiar.
Yes, the value of the family.
The value of the family is something that we also have in Latin America. And this is something very important. In some countries, we can see that when young people birth like 16, 17 years, the parents are already asking them to go to live by themselves. And this is something that, at least in Latin America, I think Qatar too, we don't have the same set of mind. We try to keep as units we can as a family, and this make our society stronger. And this is why I would say that this is something we have in common.
Yes.
And it's something really amazing. You can find your grandmother and your grandfather living with their grandsons in the same villa, and this is something beautiful because you keep the respect and honor, I think, the figure of the oldest people. This is the eldest people. This is something that you can always take advantage of, the knowledge and the experiences they have and they share with the family.
Yes, yeah. And you know what I also like is that I love this part that they use the name of the father. So, like, for example, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. So that means they embrace the name of the father and they live by honoring their father. And whatever you do and whatever you say, you are also using the name of your father. So you are, it's like giving the people more cautiousness to act or what they do, because they are also representing their family, their name, their culture. And I think that's that's one of the things I like the most about Arab culture.
Thinking about the idea that Miriam gave you to write a book. You have talked about it already?
I have thought about it. I have been planning, but I haven't given the first step to do it.
You thought maybe what you could write about, I don't know.
Well, definitely I would write about myself. I would write about my experience as living, first of all, leaving Mexico, then going to Turkey, living in Turkey, and then going to Doha, which has been very complete different changes. But then you realize that we are all the same. We are just separated by a big world and separated by borders, but at the end we are all the same. So I would say I would write about that, and I would write about my experience with you getting married, with the civil way, the Qatari way. I would also talk about the people and the women that I admire. And what I would love to do is to encourage, of course, women, but not only women. I would like to encourage everyone that would read this book and will go out there and get to know people, get to know more about culture, get to not only get this academic education, which is very important. As I like with you, I finished my master in business administration when I was living in Doha. But then I realized that I might have learned more about culture just in a few months living in Doha than making an MBA. So I think there are experiences that even if you study finance, or if you study economy, or you study management, and they are experiences that you can only get with traveling and seeing other people, talking to other people, knowing other cultures, knowing other ways of government, and that's what I would do, I think.
One of the things that we are always doing in Doha, and this is something that we also love and feel very thankful, is that we are always being invited to participate in different events, different programs. What would you say is, or are several events you like to participate and you can mention in Doha? Okay,
so first of all, I would say I love Ramadan, because when they invite us to all these suhoors and all these dinners, iftar, it's amazing. I love the way people get together like us as a family, and they have dinner and they share what they have done all day. And then sometimes I think this world and these times make you separated, or you are always in a rush, and people don't get to sit down with their family and relax for a moment. Sometimes you have to wake up early in the morning, and you have to go, and then you have to come out, and then work gets you, and that's why I love how Ramadan unites people. And when our friends are so kind enough to invite us, and we are able to sit with them and share with them, that's one of my favorite activities I have done in Qatar. Qatar National Sports Day, it's called.
Yeah.
Wow, that's also my favorite. I really love it, and I love to see the youth, but also, I mean, everyone that day is celebrating what we have, which is one of the most important things. It's health, and I love that day as well. Of course, Qatar National Day. Everyone is with their flags, and you see the children dressing like the Qatari colors. That is one of my favorite as well.
Yeah. Well, same. And I will add that moment, that historical moment when Qatar won the champion of the the Asian Cup was something amazing. We were celebrating everywhere in Qatar, in the streets, in the Corniche, with all the friends and brothers from Qatar and sisters. That was a very nice event to remember, and I'm sure that we will celebrate 2022 also with our brothers and sisters in Qatar. So I think
we are about to finish, but I was wondering, can we read a bit about the last page of Warriors in Times of Sacrifice?
Okay, you have?
No, here do you have? No? Okay, so just to end, I would like to say something that we were talking about, my husband and I, and it goes with the COVID-19 situation right now. And I think one of the most important things is that we are not afraid. We have to be smart. We have to be cautious. We have to be very cautious. We have to be responsible, and we have to have solidarity with everyone. But what we cannot allow is to be afraid, because when people are afraid of something, they attract negativity and lose the control over the situation. And in this case, we have the control. We just have to be very, very careful. We have to protect the other people that are around us and that surround us. And let's do this together. And this will, I'm sure it will end very, very soon.
For my last word, you say that you want to read the last page of Warriors in Times of Sacrifice.
Yes.
Well, we don't have it here, the book, but I can say I can remember some lines of the last page. Is that I remember I mentioned in the last page one of the thoughts of His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. Meanwhile, he was in Latin America back in October 2017. He was visiting after he finished in the United Nations General Assembly. He was visiting one of our sister nations in Latin America, and he was meeting with one of the presidents, a former president right now in Latin America, and they were talking about the Qatari fund for investments. And Sheikh Tamim mentioned a line that really touched me very deeply, because he said the fund that Qatar has is not only to invest in the present, is something that they have with a thought in the future, is something, a treasure they have for their kids, for the child of Qatar, the childs of Qatar. And this is something that make me feel hope in the thought of a leader as Sheikh Tamim. This is something that make me feel hope in the future of humanity. If we have leaders like him, we will be able and we will be sure that we will have for our kids a better future. And this is something that I want to highlight before to finish and before to say again, thank you very much to all of you for this invitation. The Ministry of Culture and Sport is an institution that is always supporting us and giving us the honor of this kind of opportunities. So thank you very much. We really enjoy. We hope you also enjoy. Thank you so much to the Qatari Forum for Authors. We also have the honor and privilege to be in part, and inshallah we will keep working, hard work, because with the ministry you always have hard work. the minister is a very dynamic, very hard work person. Yes. So we are happy to say that we consider him also our friend. And this is the most amazing thing in Qatar. You, instead of use the word colleague, you always use the word friend.